How you doing, everybody? Joe for the Joe Wentz Project here. I'm holding my microphone up here so I can be heard clearly. As you can see behind me, it is coming down bad. It's bad out here. The power's flickering off and on. They're calling for possible tornadoes, tornado warnings. I just looked on the weather, and they have some what they call, I guess, tornado cells accumulating right on the line of Georgia and South Carolina right now. And yeah, I got to leave for work here in a few minutes. This is going to be fun. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, back inside now, as you can see, where it's nice and dry. I was looking on the internet earlier. Actually, I was looking on Twitter, and I saw an interesting tweet from Neil Sean, pretty much saying that Journey has got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I think is way overdue. Should have been done a long time ago. But, all the original members, I'm sure, are going to be there. I know from what I'm reading, Steve Perry will be there, but he's not going to sing. So that's going to be kind of sad. I was kind of hoping he would sing, but I think, I don't know. I don't know Steve Perry. I don't know, the situation. I don't know what went down with those guys. They never could resolve issues. I'm not sure. Maybe Steve can't hit those notes anymore. I mean, I don't know. That's my guess. But I would love to see him sing. But according to the tweet, Neil Sean said that Arnell, which is their current singer, will be singing at the induction ceremony. So, yeah, don't get me wrong. Arnell's a fantastic singer. If you have not seen the documentary on Netflix about that, look it up. I think it's called One Man's Journey, Don't Stop Believing is the name of it. And it's fantastic how it goes into detail how Neil Sean found Arnell, of all places, on YouTube. When Arnell was, of course, in another country. He was in a cover band, and they did, all kind of stuff, Bon Jovi, Journey, you name it, and the guy is awesome. So Neil found him and sent him a message and said, this is not a joke. And they eventually got him over here, and the rest, of course, is history, as you know. But it is a very interesting documentary. You should check it out. It's very cool, man. Awesome, awesome documentary. Who knows what will happen, man? It would be very interesting to see the guys at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Of course, I'm looking forward to that induction ceremony. Like I said before, it's way overdue. Yeah, man, I love Journey. I think a lot of people that like that kind of music, classic rock genre, love Journey. I mean, Journey has some classic, amazing songs, man, that has stood the test of time and will continue to stand the test of time. Just like a bunch of other artists that I love, Van Halen and Aerosmith, even Sammy Hagar solo stuff. I love that stuff too. I know, don't start. Come on, man. you can't deny he had some great songs. Oh, you can deny it, but I can't deny it. I put it that way. Hendrix stuff is still, blowing generations away. New kids coming up wanting to learn about guitar. And their parents let them check out Hendrix or something like that. And they're like, man, who's that? So it exposes a whole new generation, with guitar, with Hendrix, with other classic tunes. I think it's amazing. So yeah, it's just cool, man. It's just cool. I don't have nothing else to say about it. I can't think of nothing else to say. But the Rolling Stones, that's another one. Eric Clapton. I mean, my gosh, when I first really got into Clapton, I mean, really paid attention, I was in high school, and he had already been on the scene for many, many years. This is like in the early to mid 80s, for me. And I was like, yeah, I've heard of Clapton, but I didn't really pay attention to what he was doing. And I really started, when I got my first guitar in 86, I started listening. And I was like, man, that sounds pretty cool. And then, what was it? One of the first songs that I heard him do, my cousin had the cassette album, and it was Slow Hand. He had the cassette album, and we popped it in the tape deck. He had it. He had bought it. He said, hey, man, I got some Eric Clapton. And I was like, Eric Clapton? And he's like, yeah. Of course, I was like, this is going to be like old-timey stuff, like living on, song Tulsa Time. When I heard that, I was like, that sounds more like old school kind of country to me. I was naive. But then I heard that, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, what's that? And then, of course, Wonderful Tonight and all that other, Lay Down Sally, all that other cool stuff. And I was like, wow. And I started really kind of looking into Clapton. Same with Hendrix, same thing, Hendrix's brilliance is what blew me away. He was so far ahead of the game, and he paid his dues. He paid his dues playing in backing bands for a large part of his life. I mean, he was in the Little Richard's band, and he got Little Richard kicked him out because Jimmy was too much of a showman, and Little Richard, I think, kind of got jealous and said, "There's only one star in this group, and that's me." So he let Hendrix go. Hendrix even backed up, was it the Isley Brothers, Ike and Tina for a short while. I mean, that's big name groups, man, especially back then. That's the big leagues, and Hendrix was playing guitar in these groups. So that said a lot, for his resume, so to speak, and then, everybody knows the story. He went to England and it was all over with after that. He was a huge star when he came back over here. And it's a shame that he went at 27, along with a lot of others, like I've said before. And there's a documentary on TV. My wife, I don't know, I can't remember what channel it was on. It was called The Final Days of so-and-so, so-and-so. They do these different stars and musicians, and they did one on Hendrix. I think it was, last week. And see, I have a DVD my wife got me a few years ago for Christmas, and I'm sure you can see it on YouTube now. It's called The Last 24 Hours, of his life. And according to that DVD, they said that Hendrix was murdered. He was held down and wine poured in, his lungs were filled with red wine and all this. Nobody's really going to know, because the only two people that were there were Jimmy and his then girlfriend, was it Kathy Etchingham or whatever? No, it wasn't. That's the wrong one. I'm sorry. Wrong girlfriend. It was the, I can't remember her name, the blonde-headed girl. I can't remember her name right now. She was there, his last girlfriend, of course. And they're both dead, so all they have are these sketchy autopsy reports, which were really, really short. But this thing my wife recorded off of TV last week, it showed that what killed Hendrix, he took a lot of sleeping pills before he laid down. His then girlfriend, that I can't remember her name right now. I can't believe I can't remember her name. She took one, and Hendrix took like I don't know, 5 or 6. And, because whenever he'd done some type of drug, he always took more than somebody else. He was, I don't know, I guess his body was more used to that, I guess, or whatever, that high dosage. So according to this show I saw on TV, he that put him in like a coma or something, and then he, his respiratory system started shutting down, and he couldn't breathe good, and that's what caused, the regurgitation, if you will, stuff like that, and that's, but the doctor said that's really not what killed him. It was, I don't know, it was all kind of crazy stuff. I was like, well, damn. Either way, it all means the same thing. He's not here anymore, and that sucks. But I really think, just for me, I really think toward the last days of Jimmy's life, man, I think he was really depressed. I think he was burnt out. He had been taken advantage of by so many different people in his group, or whatever. I think he got to the point where he didn't know whether he was coming or going. Could he have possibly taken his own life? Was that done on purpose? We'll never know. But, yeah, well, but he had some great music, man. And like I said, it's still being listened to today and revered as one of the greatest guitarists ever. And he is, I keep looking over here because I have a picture of him on my wall, and of course this poster right here, So yeah, Hendrix, man, amazing musician. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for me today, folks. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And I cannot think of that woman's name to save my life, man. Golly. Okay, see you guys later. God bless y'all. I got to get ready to leave. It's storming, as you saw. It's bad here. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So, see you guys. Bye-bye.